I'm ready. We on?
Yep.
All right, I'd like to call to order the Town of Delafield Board of Supervisors meeting for Tuesday, September 28th, 2021. If you'd all rise and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Would you like to make a comment, sir?
Yeah, roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry, roll call. Jumping ahead.
Supervisors Deanastopoulos,
Present.
Granick,
Present.
Wolfley,
Present.
Michaels,
Present.
Chairman Troy.
Present. And there are no citizens that wish to comment, so we'll
Might
move
be.
on to approval of the minutes.
There may be, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, okay,
Well, it's
That's this,
Mr.
Mr. Spheres.
Oh, you're good.
yeah. Approval of the minutes of September 14th, 2021.
I didn't see any things that needed to be adjusted, but so make a motion to approve September 14th, 2021 Town Board meetings, minutes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the September 14th Town Board minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Item 6, action on budget, action on vouchers submitted for payments. There are no adjustments or amendments to the 2021 budget, so we'll move to accounts payable and payroll.
So for accounts payable, I would like to make a motion to approve payments of checks number 65016 through 65019, and checks number 65022 through 65045 in the amount of $32,125.13. And for payroll, a motion to approve the payrolls dated October 1st, 2021 in the amount of $13,693.73.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the accounts payable and payroll amounts as submitted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Communications. Waste hauler services, Waukesha County RFP process, discussion only. Mr. Green.
So we had a meeting yesterday with Waukesha County and all the municipalities involved in the RFP process. We had 3 companies. We have 4 companies that bid. One was specifically only bidding for the city of Oconomowoc, and that was John's Disposal. We had 3 other companies that bid, including Waste Management, GFL, and Badgerland. So right now, we're going through a scoring process. We're reviewing all the RFPs and then giving them a rating. And then once we give that rating, we'll submit that back to Waukesha County. And then we'll take the combined scores from all the municipalities, and then we'll decide from there whether we want to do an interview process with each of these haulers, or if they want the municipalities to just go right into negotiation with one of the haulers. So at this point, we're scoring. I think the town scores, I've already done an accumulated score for each, so I'll be submitting those back to the county. And then we'll see what the rest of the group comes up with. So we do have another meeting scheduled with the county and the group on October 11th. So then we'll learn more about the next steps. But for now, we did get responses, and we got more than one, which is always a good sign. So the grading for these is a little tricky because you're not supposed to use experiences from other people for how you grade the haulers, but you can use personal experience. So we've kind of taken that into account. But if you guys have any questions about the contracts or about the RFPs, shoot me an email.
Do all 3 of these bidders offer drive-up service?
Yes. The 3 that are pertinent to us offer a drive-up service.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm saying, and so they threw their hat in, or did they actually like give us a proposal and say, hey, here's our estimated costs?
So they haven't submitted costs yet. They submitted the proposals on what their background is, what you know, what they're willing to do for us, how many trucks they have, that sort of thing. So we're gonna break down the scoring by that first, and then we're gonna start comparing the
Gotcha.
costs and then see how they match up. So we'll know the costs, I believe on the 11th is when they're gonna give us the costs.
Great.
But is the cost based on how many communities might potentially contract with them?
No, I
it-
think they usually do a cost per ton.
Oh.
It's usually a formula that they come up with, and then the county actually breaks down those costs and then gives us more of an understandable cost, like per resident or something like that. So once they kind of break that down in their calculations, then they'll come back to us and then give us the cost. But I don't know if cost is gonna be the number one driver in this decision. I think it's gonna be more so the quality of service, which is why I think they're doing it this way. So that communities don't just go with the cheapest, because all but one of the people that are involved with this have one particular garbage company right now. And so the thought was there's a reason why they're not renewing their contracts and they're going through this process. So we want to make sure we take everything into consideration besides just who's the cheapest. So,
But we're just piggybacking on the county, really? We're not gonna sit down ourselves and negotiate with them, or are we?
we can choose which one we want. So the county submitted the RFPs for the different communities, but we can choose which one best suits our community and then have discussions with them. So if you guys want to, you know, if once we choose the vendor that suits us best, we can interview them if we want to and bring them in. Or we can, you know, decide we like what we see and then we can just go.
So we can cross that bridge when we get there, depending on what comes back from the
Right,
county.
depending on how they score and, you know, I'll have more for you at the next board meeting after the 11th meeting, so.
Do you think it would be helpful to send to the board members the actual RFPs from the three vendors?
Yeah, I can send them. I don't want too many.
Not that long, are they?
They're like 40 pages,
Oh, never
40 to 60 pages each, so.
I trust Dan.
That's a long
It
RFP.
was a fun read. Well, I made Karen do the scoring as well as myself, and then
Yeah.
we kind of compared them.
No, I don't wanna see it if it's 40 pages.
It's not the most fun.
Well, Dan, I would say if you have the opportunity to provide personal experience as part of the process, my thing is there are going to be mistakes or days that are missed. It's when we can't get anybody on the phone and we have nothing even to say to the residents that are emailing us. That's the personal experience to me that feels the most frustrating. So,
Yeah, because the guys that come and pick up our garbage, fantastic.
Yeah.
I would 100%
agree.
agree with exactly that statement is, you know, them personally are great, who are coming our place, but when you can't get someone to give you an answer, that's an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's my biggest frustration is, you know, the frontline guys, they're awesome. They do a great job and no beef on them. It's the, you know, with the previous, you know, folks, you know, you called their number and you spoke to somebody and they were very responsive, and now it's, you end up in the nightmare call queue and without having a direct contact or a phone a friend, which is tough, so. But
Yep.
you've been helpful in helping navigate some of those in the recent weeks, so thank you, Dan.
Sure. And Waste Management, I can say, did address some of those concerns in their RFP. They actually talked about how they know that basically the service is struggling, but they provided a plan for, the problem is they provided a plan for the service, like you guys talk about, the guys that drive up the driveway and pick up your garbage, but they didn't provide a plan for the other part, which is the customer service piece, which is the part that the staff struggles with as well as residents.
Yeah,
So-
they need a customer success department, so.
Well, and they need a means of communication the weeks of holidays or snowstorms or whatnot, so that people know that, you know, Monday's a holiday. If your normal day's Monday, it's gonna be Tuesday and back everything up, because that seems to be a huge
yes,
problem.
it's a guessing
And-
game. Yeah.
and yeah, and that's why people are trying to call and nobody's getting through and whatnot, is there's no way to communicate. But I don't know if that needs to come from us or like
Well,
the
it
town, because.
would, yeah, but I mean, the notification to us comes so late too that it's hard for us to get it ahead of it, so.
Well, from what I hear, they're non-discriminatory, though. They treat everybody lousy.
Yeah.
So it's not
Like
just,
garbage.
yeah, yeah. It's not just the town of Delafield or who you are in the town of Delafield, it's all the municipalities
Right.
that are serviced by them.
So, and then the last thing I'll say to that is just keep in mind that up the drive service, Waste Management has been doing for a long time. The other two companies that are throwing their hat in the ring, they're kind of new to it. So there may be a learning curve there too. So just something to consider.
That's good to know.
What, I'm not familiar, I take my garbage to the road. What is up to drive service?
You can just leave it by your garage door. and
Yeah,
they
quit
come up
working
the
so
drive
hard.
And they pick it up.
Oh. Well, I try to make my wife take it up to the road. Doesn't work, I do. Okay, anything else on waste hauler services? And we'll move on to I94 Construction Project Update.
Sure. So you sort of received some material in your packet. I was not part of a presentation by the DOT that regarded this project, but they did send me some of the information. This is between Highway 16 and where Highway 16 breaks off of I-94 in Waukesha, all the way to Highway 83. They're looking at resurfacing 94 and also, I believe, the parking area off of Highway 83.
And the one off G.
And the one off the
The one off G. So, they proposed for, I believe it's 2025 or 2026. They did say if the funds are available, they could do it sooner. I don't know if that's realistic or not, but, usually these, they kind of give you a heads up overview of, you know, what they're planning, and then when they come closer to the time, they really start diving more into meetings with the local communities and giving us more specific specs on what they're doing. So this is more of a heads up that it's coming. And when I hear more, I'll forward you whatever I receive from the DOT.
When I received this, I was totally surprised. I had not heard anything about this at all.
Yeah, it came up pretty fast. I think they met about a week and a half ago. So that's, I think 2 weeks ago is when I had learned about it, so.
No talk about expanding to 3
Lanes.
lanes past SS.
No. I talked to Cindy Duco about that a little bit. She wishes they would extend to Delafield as well, but there are no plans for it, so.
It's totally out of our control.
And I feel like that's just gonna, I mean, to how far, right? Like, wherever they end up going from 3 to 2, it's
They
gonna
ought to go
bottleneck
all the
that.
way to Madison.
Yeah, exactly. Until they make it through to Madison.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got off, we went to Madison on Sunday, and I got off at the outlet malls for a cup of coffee. You can't get back on.
Yeah, because they're doing the bridge there.
You have to go 8 miles back.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No, you have to go back, to Sullivan
Yeah.
to get back on?
Yeah, you gotta go back to Exonia.
Man, I paid a high price for that coffee. Okay, City of Delafield Economic Development Land Use Focus Project.
So just a quick update on this, and then I'll let Ron speak to it, but the city of Delafield had been working for the past, I believe, year and a half on an economic development plan where they brought in residents and different folks from the community and from the board. And so this is kind of the packet that I printed is what they've come up with, but they have more information on a website, and it's called delafieldgrowth.com. And that provides not only this document, but all other documents that they kind of went off of to come up with this, including their land use plan, shows the border agreements between Heartland, Town of Delafield, all the other local areas. And it has the minutes to the meetings where they came up with this document. So I'll let Ron speak to the document itself.
Well, Kent Atwell, the mayor of the city, called me and wanted to meet. And we met for a little over an hour and went through the plan. It impacts the town in 2 areas, I think. And I don't have my copy of it, but one is on Highway 83 at the top of the hill. There's farms on both sides. I believe it's on page 20 of your exhibit. Yes, it is. It's on page 20 of your exhibit, where at the very top of the hill, they're changing the land, they're proposing to change the land use plan to much higher density. The city needs income, and Kent's answer to needing income is he selected 7 or 8 parcels of land where he's working with developers to change the density to significantly higher density. So he's looking at, on page 20, on the east side of 83, which is our, where he's showing medium density residential, that borders the town of Delafield property. For example, that's over where, like, Marilyn Krause lives.
Yeah, it backs up the Gulf Hills.
Yeah. And our border agreement states that the lot sizes on new development on bordered property have to equal the town's lot sizes. Okay? And it doesn't necessarily address density, it just addresses lot sizes. So we could have a problem along that border there. Now, what he told me was he's gonna stage it, he's gonna put high-density 3-story or 4-story multifamily along 83, followed by,
God, it's already a traffic nightmare.
oh yeah, followed by lower-density condominiums, and when he gets to the border, he's gonna put single-family homes. That's what he's told me, but I haven't seen it. And then that'll cause a whole problem with Highway 83. It's a 2-lane road there. It's already congested. It's on the top of a hill with site issues. Egress will be a problem. And he's doing it on both sides of 83. So that's one of the potential problems to the town. This is all going to be discussed at different meetings, and there's a schedule in the back of the package that shows the different meetings between his plan commission and his city council. Another change is on the southeast corner of 94 and Highway C, over by southeast corner. There's a parking right there. The rumor has been for years that there was going to be a medical complex going in there. Well, he can't sell the medical complex, but he can sell multiple senior living center facilities. And that's what he's talking about putting in there. That's getting zoned for too. That'll be a problem for us along Highway C, which is already a busy road. Again, another 2-lane road that is going to be an issue. So,
That's on page 13.
yeah,
13?
page 13, that is on. That's the very first one. And that's coming up very quickly. Now, I've made inquiries off behind the scenes to certain people, and these people think he's going to have a real fight on his hands, especially on the Highway C issue because of,
Those neighbors are organized.
yeah, they are.
Well, I can imagine that what he's proposing to back up to the edge of Gulf Hills isn't gonna fly all that.
Not if they see 3-story apartment buildings.
Right.
Well, he actually changed the ordinance now to allow 4 stories.
Okay.
They allow 4 stories in downtown Delafield, city of Delafield. He's desperate for income, though. Not, well, desperate's a harsh word.
No, I think that's right.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I guess they're
We have
listing
limited
that,
control. We
Sure.
have our border agreement. It's our only control.
right. I mean, the parcels he's listing though, I mean, I guess is there any already gathered input from the people who own these parcels?
These were workshops that were open to the public. They were streamed, and he's had 0 impact or input from the public. But they've been going on for 6 or 8 months, and they were all noticed and streamed workshops, every single one.
Interesting.
There were no input at all.
I didn't read about it until late last week or early this week that Because aren't they presenting this, or did they present this last week, or?
They presented it,
Last week
either last
Tuesday,
week or
or
this week.
Tuesday, yeah.
I met with them on Tuesday, so
Okay.
we met at Panera's for a couple hours.
So Ron, you believe that the medium density proposal along 83 would be in violation of the Delhart Compact based off of the density that he's talking about?
I have to read the border agreement, but the border agreement was written in 2002, and I've read it before, but I can't recall specifically, but he specifically stated the lot sizes has to conform to the border to the neighboring adjoining lot sizes.
Right, so theoretically.
So he wants to-
So
okay.
theoretically, you have lot sizes that are the same, but he could put condo units.
I was
on
just
it.
gonna say the same thing, Ed.
Lot
He's trying to be
sizes are
cute
not-
and he's gonna make it really high, but the lot size is the
Well,
same.
his whole point is, if he has say a 1.5 acre lot, and he can, our vision is a single-family homes on our 1.5 acre lot, and he says, well, I want to put in, eight condominium units on 1.5 acre lot, I'm not violating our border agreement. I'm not violating the writing of our border agreement, but they're,
It's a long ways away.
it's well, it'll take a year and a half. Somebody else's problem. But it's out there.
Oh, yeah, it's just awareness. I appreciate the awareness.
I mean,
Yeah, thank you.
this is right by the Seven Seas property, at least this one that butts up to the back of the Gulf Hills, right? So I mean, like, I'm surprised.
Well, Negarico Road goes to Seven Seas
Right.
property.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm surprised that the group of people who were pretty organized against what they were proposing for that property at Seven Seas hasn't
Well, it's not on the lake.
said much.
Yeah, it's not on the lake.
Yeah, they don't care.
It's on,
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe they will, I don't know.
suppose.
well, I've heard that the developer for Seven Seas is intending to file suit against the city. So,
Yeah, the senior living facility.
the
Susan.
senior living-
They're suing, yeah.
Yeah,
The one that concerns me more, I guess, because I worked right there, is the one directly adjacent to us, and that's on the other side.
that's
of Maple Avenue.
the last one,
Yeah, that's the one on
Page
page
is that?
13.
That's not.
At the gun club?
And they're talking about high density, multifamily across the street, and there's no access because of the elevation change on Hillside Drive to get a road directly from that parcel onto Hillside, which means Maple Avenue is gonna get the traffic for that. And looking at how it's set up now, that drive that goes into SEH, which I assume they would use, butts up to the entrance of the fire station. And that could be a major problem.
that's not on page 13, though, that's,
Yeah, that's
It's 13, yeah.
oh, it is?
Yeah.
I thought that was
The
Highway
Highway
C.
C one was on page 12.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay, so-
he and I talked, I objected to both the development across from the town hall and to the development along Highway 83. I objected to him in person. The fire department's not gonna like, and he's talking about really they're taking down the engineering building.
Right.
So that's coming down, and they're
The
gonna
people that wrote this, the ones that own it?
the developer, well, the people who wrote this is the citizens of the committee that he formed to do
Well,
it.
but the folks
Isn't
that
this an
offered-
SEH?
Yeah,
Don't they own that?
yeah.
Anyway, go on.
The developer is gonna take down the engineering building, they already own it. Level, and he plans to put up high-density, four-story,
I mean, that's gonna
apartments.
impact everyone in the town. Everybody in town's gonna look at that. That's so high up.
Yeah. And it's gonna be a traffic nightmare on C, or on Maple Avenue, rather, and on Hillside Drive. And I don't see how those roads can remain two-lane roads. Plus, the fire department's gonna have their road directly connected to the only reasonable egress coming out of the subdivision. So, it's an issue.
This is very concerning.
Yeah.
At what point Does the four-way stop sign no longer be a four-way stop sign?
You may have a light sooner than you think, and you may have a light
C too.
to get in and out of the subdivision, because the fire department's gonna want, if they have a call,
Right.
they're gonna wanna control that light and put it on red in all directions, so they can just hustle out of there. And you're gonna have lights on top of Highway C, because that's tough.
There isn't a whole lot of space, you know, between the two roads going under the interstate either.
No.
That's huge concern for especially the fire department.
Yeah. And I mean, everything that, especially, I mean, depending on where people are going to or coming from, there's already an issue on Gulf Road and E. I mean,
Huge, yeah.
that already backs up substantially. And
Elmhurst all the way.
yeah, right? Yeah, it's, yeah, I mean, this is,
Well, this year, it's the Elmhurst Bridge, and then, let's see, we'll have this project backing it up.
Well, it'll be a year before this project
Right,
even
right.
breaks ground.
And Elmhurst is a year, this one's in the future. Yeah,
I guess
wow.
so specifically on this property that butts up to the town hall, right? What does the border agreement say for something like that, where obviously it's not a residential lot?
It doesn't address it.
Doesn't address it, okay.
Well, it's just the same, I mean, if it says anything, it's the lot sizes.
lot size,
But we don't
okay.
have lot sizes. And, you know, we have a monthly meeting with Eric, and this is on the agenda for the monthly meeting with Eric. Kent was very gracious. He called me, because I knew nothing about this, and we sat down and he explained it to me. We walked through it in detail. But he also knows we have limited ability to stop it. We just have, actually, the county may have more authority. Well, wait, the county doesn't own Maple Avenue, we own Maple Avenue.
We own Maple Avenue.
Yeah.
Why did we ever do that?
Because the county wanted to widen it. And the people that sat at these chairs before us wanted to maintain the pristine rural characteristic of Maple Avenue.
No, there's merit in both sides, because now it's gonna have to be widened, at least by us.
Well,
And, I mean, we
That's
can't
what
even charge the developer for that. We can't make it a requirement and charge the developer, because it's in the cities. The road's in our property and the development's in the cities.
I think that's a discussion for Eric as far as where that access comes and what we can demand and not demand as far as the.
Yeah, we should look into that.
Well, the
sooner than
realistic,
later.
you and I have gone through the whole map, Stan. You and I both know that to get an exit on Hillside Drive is virtually impossible.
no, it sounds like it's expensive, not virtually impossible.
I mean, there's
Right? I mean,
other,
that's,
The grade,
yeah,
Are
no,
you talking
I'm
about the
familiar with it.
94 exit?
No, right on Hillside Drive. I mean, everything that's graded, or like where that building, that engineering building is right now, I mean, it's significant. It's a steep grade. You definitely, you know, even
Can you bring up this tax key?
even the building to the west of it, right? Like that doesn't have a
I think
Hillside
this was
Drive
the land
egress.
that was recently annexed, not, when I say recently.
Yes, there was a property just to the south of there.
that was
purchased and annexed, right?
2016.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mary never notified us.
yeah.
Mary and Tim never notified us until 6 or 8 months after it was annexed.
Well, and then
Well,
just
how does that
one
happen?
property south is the gun club that they're rebuilding, right?
2, I think.
Don't you need to sign a resolution in order for something to be annexed?
Not us. We never signed anything.
This is the property.
Can you see that?
You want me to put up the topography?
Yeah.
So here's the slope, where the building is, and you can see it drops down 50 feet from right here to here.
Yeah. Not
And-
15, 50.
50, and it's considerable. I mean, if you drive past this, you look, and there's a huge hill. There's this drainage ditch right here that's pretty steep even at that point.
Well, like I said, that building just to the west of it doesn't have that doesn't have Hillside Drive access. You gotta go through the parking lot of the brew house.
Right, well, that's, the thought is that you possibly could, look at this spot here and then have a road go this way.
Not if you're gonna put high
You'd have
density,
to acquire
not
some
if you're gonna put high
property.
density apartments or
Yeah,
anything.
they're gonna wanna do that
Yeah.
with high density apartments.
Yeah, or they
They wanna go out on Maple. I told them we'd fight them on it, but, and look at the exit for the fire department. I mean, it's a direct line
Right,
up
that's-
Wow.
with the entrance to the area.
But the current property's access is off Maple, right? Which is what they'll argue.
Yeah.
Right.
It's right there, right directly across from the exits to the fire department. So if you're talking about a light, that's where they'll want a light. And then again, one at, the frontage road. It's a lot of traffic,
Wow.
We get no economic benefit from it, and we just get harmed by it.
Not to mention the gun club. If that-
Show them where the
Moves
gun
forward.
club is.
The access point is down here, I believe.
Oh, it's that far south?
No, I think
I
it's
know,
north.
it's up
I think it
north.
must-
Yeah, it's like right there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gotta be more south.
Take the topography lines off and we'll see.
Here, let me zoom out. Here it is. It's right there.
Oh, there it is.
So it is south, but I mean, now you're talking about cars going even further down here. So you have access here, and then you'll have
Yeah,
that.
see, it's 2 lots south, 2 or 3 lots south.
Wow.
Anyhow, I thought the board needed to know.
Yeah.
Appreciate you
Well, we own
bringing this to our
the,
attention.
Well, I thank you
for that map, we own the land on the west side of Maple Avenue though, right? So I mean, they've got the piece,
We own the land on the west side, but it's
Is it right away or is it?
right away. Yeah.
okay.
Oh, right away.
And that, part of that right away, I think, is the county's because of Silverdale Road too.
Yeah.
And because of the.
Oh, that's true.
Of
That's a good point.
I-94.
Yeah.
so.
But let us know what you mean with Eric is. I mean, certainly,
Yeah, wouldn't mind.
I'd rather,
Your packets, because
Yeah.
this is definitely gonna come up in the future. Okay, there is no unfinished business. We'll move into new business. Discussion and possible action on a temporary Class B license to St. Anthony on the Lake School Committee for a whatever, madness.
Mostacholi
event.
madness.
Yeah, on November 13th, 2021.
Everything in order?
Yep, everything's good. I talked to the applicant, everything's in good shape. They do this event or an event similar to it, I believe last year around the same time they did one. There were no concerns at that event, so I recommend approval.
Motion to recommend, motion to approve the Class B, temporary Class B license to St. Anthony on the Lake School Committee for the Mostacholi Madness event on November 13th, 2021.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the Class B license for St. Anthony on the Lake School. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and possible action on a letter of credit reduction for Retreat Development LLC for the Retreat subdivision in the amount of $84,629.10. Dan.
Sure, so Tim couldn't make it tonight, but this is pretty cut and dry. They're asking for an $84,000 reduction, but a substantial amount of work's been done on the site. Developers looking for reduction for grading, stormwater, and restoration that's been done on the site. And Tim has reviewed this, and he is comfortable with it. He recommended approval, and the developer is present too if he wants to make any comments. Otherwise, if you guys have any questions.
Looks pretty straightforward to me.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Motion to approve the reduction in the letter of credit for the Retreat Development LLC in the amount of $84,629.10.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the letter of credit reduction for the Retreat Development LLC as requested. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Discussion and possible action on the redistricting ward map for the town of Delafield. Dan.
So there's no action needed tonight, but at the next meeting, if you approve the new maps, then we can move forward with the resolution that goes to the county. So this is the original map, and you can see below that Ward 3 currently is over 1,000 residents, which the state doesn't like. They want you to be under 1,000 per ward. So that line needed to be adjusted between 3 and 4. The difficulty here was that 4 also had 845 people, so there was a fine line, and you can only adjust these lines based on these populations, of these chunks of populations. So it took some time to kind of pick which ones were the correct ones. The thought was to keep 3 and 4 together because we didn't want to, that's when other school districts come into play, because 2 does have other school districts. We need to keep them where they are, and the polling locations themselves. So the other concern was 7 and 8. 7 was at 945, so it was kind of closing in. I wasn't worried too much about 3 and 4 as far as expanding, because they're pretty much built out to as far as they're going to be. But 7 and 8, there is still land there and still subdivisions that could potentially be there. So I wanted to shrink 7. So this is the proposed map. You can see that there's some changes to 3 and 4, but they all are under that 1,000 mark in the population. And then if you scroll down here to 7 and 8, basically this chunk here I took out of 7 and I put into 8, and that way it kind of creates some cushions where they're a little bit more level. There wasn't any school districts to worry about in regards to these, and they vote at the same polling location. So those are the only adjustments I made to the map. Everything else falls in line. If you look at this contiguous means that everything is all encompassed into one area. You don't have islands. We do have an island in Ward 4. I'm sure most of you know this, but for those that don't, there's a small piece of land, if I can find it here. Right there. This is technically the town of Delafield. I don't know how, but it is. It's about an acre parcel.
No way.
Tim informed me when I started here that this was ours. So that's the only reason why it's.
That's awesome.
Are you kidding me?
No,
Is that a single-family home?
no, it's part of. I think it's a parking lot of one of those businesses right off of 16 and 83. So there's some. I think there's some condos back there, and then there's just some like construction companies or something. So, besides that, we are contiguous and we're all under 1,000. So, if there are no objections to this, then I'd like to, at the next agenda, pass a resolution and then move forward with this plan. It's going to be the easiest as far as residents changing location.
Just because 4 is at 999, you said that those 2 were pretty, like,
They're built out.
You're not going to see too much
You're not
change.
going to see, I mean, and that could be too, we just had a we just had a census. So, depending on who responded to the census, those populations will go up and down. But for the states, being within the state mandate, it's lesser than it was, and it meets it meets the requirement. The problem you get into with that is, if you want to start breaking that up, well, we can't.
You'd have to add a new district.
We'd have to add a new ward, basically, and then you'd have 3, 4, and 12, or something like that, and that would. I figure let's pick that battle in 10 years.
10 years.
Sure.
When you guys don't have to worry about
That's
it. But for now, I think, like I said, it's built up to a point where I don't think it's going to be much more over 1,000.
And again, tonight is just,
Just
discussion
informational.
only.
Just information. Yep.
I think, yeah. we're good for 10 years then, if we pass the resolution.
Right?
Well, and at the end of the day, it's no real effect to the voter. They're gonna still vote at the same place, and
Yeah.
so,
And the school district, big thing, the school districts
Yeah.
stay the
School
same.
district lines, and most people don't know the wards they live in anyways. They
Right.
know where they vote.
Yeah. And gerrymandering's not an issue. So,
Not that you know of.
okay, any other questions? If not, we'll move on to announcements and planning items. Plan Commission meeting on Tuesday, October 5th at 6:30. Town boards on October 12th and October 26th at 6:30. Now, Dan, when have you and I discussed about voting on the fire department budget? At the 26th meeting? When do you want to do it? I don't particularly.
The resolution is prepared. I would suggest if we vote on the budget, we vote on the resolution on the same night. So as long as the fire department doesn't have any amendments or changes, we have to have it back to them by December 1st, according to the contract.
December
so we
1st.
got
December
time.
1st. So
Oh,
we
we got
have
lots of
time, so.
Okay. I just would like to have all the members present at that meeting, so I want to give them plenty of time, that everybody can be at that meeting, that we vote on the budget for both the fire department and the town.
We could potentially put it on the same night as the budget.
And
Is
what
our
night is that scheduled for?
No, Wednesday, November 17th?
Well, that's the,
That's the public hearing, but the thought was we could move the town board meeting like we did last year and just have the town board meeting instead of that Tuesday, have it the Wednesday after the public hearing of the budget, and then we can have the public hearing and then vote on the budget on the same night. Otherwise, we haven't set the public hearing yet. It hasn't been published, so
Right.
we can always move that to Tuesday before the town board meeting too.
well, it depends on if there's going to be any discussion on the fire department budget, because we have to vote on the fire department budget before we vote on our budget.
Oh, that's true.
So it might be better to have the fire department budget on the 26th and then our budget at the public hearing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Give us some-
I don't have a problem with any of those dates. I won't be at the planning commission on the 5th, but it doesn't sound like you need town board members, right?
No,
No.
not this time.
The only other thing is if the county unit is meeting still in person on October 27th, that Wednesday, we're tentatively hosting the
Was town association.
town association county unit meeting.
On
And,
October 27th?
yeah, on October 27th. And the tentative agenda was to have somebody from the towns association talk to us about ARPA, so.
Oh, that'd be interesting. That's at 6 o'clock? 6:30?
6:30.
30th.
Okay, we'll decide at the next meeting. Anything else? If not,
To adjourn.
yeah.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.